I heard her laugh and say, "It's just a friendship bracelet now." 30 heads turned in my direction. I didn't explode. I called my lawyer at 9:15 a.m. and froze our accounts by noon. That evening, I put the screenshots on the table. Now, who was going to laugh next? My wife called my wedding ring a friendship bracelet at our beach house party in front of 30 people while behaving in a way that crossed serious boundaries with some of the single guests in swimwear. That was the moment I realized our 7-year marriage had reached its expiration date, and I was about to enforce it. Let me backtrack to every summer for the past 3 years. We threw this big party in Virginia Beach, renting the same beach house for a weekend and inviting work friends, college buddies, and neighbors. It started as our own tradition, something we had built together. Good food, cold beer, volleyball on the sand, and everyone talked about it for months afterward. This year, it felt different from the start. 3 weeks before the party, she suddenly wanted to invite a bunch of new people, all from the gym she attended, all singles in their 20s who apparently needed to experience our legendary parties. When I asked her why, she got defensive quickly. "They are just friends. You do not own the guest list." Fine, so be it. But then came the shopping trips. New bikinis, new summer dresses. A professional manicure session for the first time in 2 years. When I mentioned she looked stunning, she barely looked up from her phone. "I just want to look pretty for the pictures." The pictures, of course. The week leading up to the party, her phone became practically attached to her hand, always face down on the counter, quick to flip it over when I entered the room, stepping outside to take calls. When I asked her who was texting so late, she would brush me off, saying she was just coordinating party details with everyone. Friday morning, we loaded up the pickup truck and drove to Virginia Beach. Hours of watching her scroll through social media while I handled the playlist and the driving. At red lights, I would catch glimpses of her typing messages, but she tilted the screen whenever I looked. We arrived at the rental around noon, the same house as usual. 3 bedrooms right on the beach with a huge deck perfect for entertaining. I started unloading the coolers and party supplies while she went straight inside to shower and get ready. The party did not start until 4 in the afternoon. 2 hours later, she walked out wearing a bright red bikini I had never seen before. It was bolder than the modest one-piece swimsuit she usually wore to our pool parties. She looked beautiful, but it seemed like she was dressing for someone specific. New swimsuit. I have had it for a while, just never had the chance to wear it. Guests started arriving around 4 in the afternoon. Our usual group showed up first. My college roommate brought his wife and kids. My coworker brought his girlfriend. Normal people having normal conversations about work and weekend plans. Then her gym friends arrived. 5 guys all around 25 years old, all obviously single and obviously trying to impress someone. They walked right past me to find her on the deck, where she suddenly became the most animated I had seen her in months. I fired up the grill and started cooking burgers and hot dogs for 30 people. That is what I do at these events. I cook, I keep the drinks stocked. I make sure everyone is having a good time catching up with each other. Meanwhile, she organized a volleyball match on the beach, not playing with the married couples or families like usual. Just her and the 5 gym guys, plus a couple of single women from her work. The rest of our guests ended up watching from the deck or making awkward conversation. I could see the game from the grill. She was engaging in a lot of physical celebrations with the group, prolonged high fives, celebratory jumps, lots of laughing, and hair flipping. It was behavior I had not seen from her since we were dating. My college buddy came over to help me with the burgers. She seems full of energy today. Yeah, really getting into the competitive spirit. He looked at me strangely, but did not press the issue. Smart man. Around 6 in the evening, most of the food was ready and people were filling their plates. The volleyball game ended and everyone headed to the deck. She grabbed a beer and immediately started talking to the tallest guy from her gym. She stood closer than necessary while she spoke. I watched it all while serving potato salad and refilling the ice bucket, taking mental notes, filing away every interaction, every laugh. Every time she acted like someone unattached at our own married couple's party, the sun went down, the music played, and everyone seemed to be having a great time, except me. I was doing the math in my head, wondering how long this had been going on, wondering what else I had missed by being the reliable husband managing all the logistics while his wife played beach volleyball with guys young enough to be her little brothers. But I kept grilling, smiling, playing the perfect host. After all, the real party was just beginning. Around 8 in the evening, someone suggested another volleyball match. This time, with string lights on the beach and drinks in hand. Most of the married couples declined. Too full from dinner, cranky kids, the usual stuff. But my wife was already the first one down on the sand. I stayed on the deck mixing drinks for people and clearing plates. The perfect vantage point to watch what unfolded. And what unfolded was telling. She teamed up with the tall guy from her gym, the one she had been talking to all evening. The guy looked like he spent more time on his abs than most people do on their careers. He won every point, celebrating with elaborate high fives and chest bumps. When she spiked the ball for a point, she jumped into his arms. He spun her around while she laughed. Everyone else on the beach could see what was happening. The other players, the people watching from the deck, probably the people in the neighboring houses. My coworker's girlfriend walked over to the drink station where I was posted. Your wife is really good at volleyball. She is competitive. I can see that. The way she said it told me everything. It was not just me being paranoid. Other people were noticing it too. The game went on for another 20 minutes. More celebrating, more closeness, more of my wife acting like she was 22 and unattached on spring break. At one point, the ball went into the dunes and she chased after it with the gym guy. They disappeared for 5 minutes. 5 minutes to find a volleyball. When they came back, her hair was messy and she was adjusting her bikini top. Found it, she announced, holding the ball as if she had discovered a buried treasure. Everyone took a break after that. The players gathered around the cooler I had stocked with beer and sports drinks. That is when it happened. One of the other gym guys, the shorter one with the man bun, noticed something. Hey, nice ring, he said to my wife. When is the wedding? Everyone within earshot went quiet, including me, standing 20 feet away, pretending to organize empty bottles. She looked down at her left hand as if she had forgotten the ring was there. A white gold band with a small diamond, nothing fancy. But we had picked it out together 7 years ago, saved up for 3 months to afford it. Then she laughed, not the nervous kind of laugh when someone is caught off guard. The dismissive kind. This old thing? It is more like a friendship bracelet at this point. The group erupted in giggles. All the singles, the 2 single women from her office, even people I could not identify, as if she had told the funniest joke of the night. But the married couples on the deck, dead silence. My college buddy and his wife exchanged glances. My coworker stopped mid-drink. His girlfriend even took a step back. I felt all eyes on the deck turned toward me, watching my reaction, waiting to see what the husband does when his wife publicly disrespects their marriage in front of 30 people. I did not react. I just kept organizing bottles and napkins as if nothing had happened. But inside, I was taking inventory. Every laugh, every chuckle, every person who thought it was hilarious to disrespect our marriage for cheap laughs. The volleyball game resumed, but the energy had shifted. The married couple started finding excuses to leave. The kids were tired. Long drive tomorrow, early morning plans. Within an hour, half of our guests had slipped away. The remaining crowd was exactly what you would expect. Singles in their 20s, a few single women from her work, and us. The married couple who was not acting very married. The music got louder, the drinks poured stronger. Someone brought out a speaker and started playing club music instead of the classic rock we usually kept on. The party had officially turned into something else entirely. Around 10 at night, she was dancing on the deck under the string lights with the same guy she had been celebrating with at volleyball all night. It was not group dancing, not the kind of dancing married people do at parties. It was close dancing. I was inside loading the dishwasher when my college buddy found me. We are heading out. Thanks for having us. Sure, drive safe. He stopped at the door, looked toward the deck where my wife was still dancing, then back at me. You okay? Never better. He knew I was lying. But he also knew better than to press it. That is what 20 years of friendship teaches you. After he left, I had a choice. Go out there and make a scene, or stay inside and let her finish digging her own grave. I chose option 2. From the kitchen window, I watched her dance with 3 different guys over the next hour. Watched them take shots and laugh at jokes that apparently only she found funny. Watched her act like the unattached woman she clearly wanted to be. Around midnight, most of the remaining guests started to trickle out. Beach house rentals in Virginia Beach are not cheap, and people had checkout times to meet. But the gym guy did not leave, nor did 2 of his friends. When I went outside to start cleaning up, my wife was sitting very intimately close to him in one of the deck chairs, sharing a beer and whispering in his ear. She saw me coming and did not even have the decency to look embarrassed. "We are just talking," she announced, as if I had asked. "I can see that. Do not be weird about it." "Weird, huh?" "Because watching your wife sitting that closely with another man at her own party is completely normal behavior that husbands should just accept." I started stacking chairs and picking up empty bottles. The cleaning could wait until morning, but I needed something to do with my hands before I said something I could not take back. The three guys finally left around 1 in the morning. Lots of goodbye hugs, promises to see each other soon. Inside jokes I was not part of. After they left, she came inside and headed straight for the bathroom. I heard the shower running for 15 minutes. When she came out, I was sitting on the couch with a beer, scrolling on my phone. "Nice party," she said. "Yeah, everyone seemed to have a great time, especially your new friends." She sat at the other end of the couch, not next to me like before, not even on the same cushion. "They're just fun to be around. Young energy, you know." I noticed the energy. "What does that mean?" "Nothing. Just an observation." She scrutinized my face for a moment, probably trying to guess how much trouble she was in, but I was not giving her anything to latch onto. "I am tired," she finally said. "Long day." She went to bed without saying goodnight. I stayed on the couch for another hour, staring at the ocean through the sliding glass door and processing what I had just seen. My wife had publicly disrespected our marriage, crossed boundaries with multiple men, and acted like an unattached woman at our own party in front of friends, family, and co-workers. But more importantly, she had shown me exactly who she really was when she thought she could get away with it. Now, I just had to decide what to do with that information. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning to the sound of waves and my wife snoring. She had drunk more than usual, and it showed, sprawled across 3/4 of the bed, still wearing the makeup she had put on to impress 20-somethings. I made some coffee and sat on the deck watching the morning joggers and dog walkers on the beach. Peaceful, quiet, the complete opposite of the circus from the night before. Around 9 in the morning, she still had not moved. Perfect. Her tablet was charging on the kitchen counter, as always. Same passcode she had used for 3 years. Our wedding anniversary. The irony was not lost on me, but I was not going to waste time being poetic about it. I opened her messages first. The recent conversations told the whole story. A thread with the beach crew. That is what she had named the group chat with her gym friends. Messages going back 2 weeks. All about the party, but not the logistics I thought she was coordinating. "I cannot wait for Saturday. My husband will be busy playing host while we have real fun. Is it going to be weird with us there? He will not even notice. He is always focused on the grill and making sure everyone is happy. Perfect opportunity. Are you sure? Sounds risky. Trust me, I know exactly how to handle him." I scrolled up further, 3 weeks of messages. Plans for what she would wear. Strategies to keep me distracted. Jokes about how clueless married men are. But the ray I'll find was her private message thread with the tall guy. His name was apparently Brandon. "Last night was amazing. You looked gorgeous." "Thanks. It feels good to have fun for once." "Your husband seems cool, but he is nothing like you described." "What do you mean?" "You said he was controlling and boring. He seemed pretty laid back to me." "That is just his public front. You do not live with him. When can we see each other without the crowd?" "Soon. He works late on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The gym closes at 10 at night." "Perfect. I will think of something fun for us to do." The messages went back 6 weeks. Started innocently enough, workout advice, gym class schedules. But they had escalated quickly. Nothing explicit, nothing I could call an ongoing physical affair, but clearly crossing into inappropriate emotional territory. More interesting were her messages with 2 female friends from work, women I had met at company parties, women who had come to our house for dinner. "How was the party?" "Amazing. Finally felt like myself again." "Did you talk to that gym guy you mentioned?" "More than talked. We practically spent the whole night together." "And your husband?" "He was busy playing house manager. Did not even notice." "Are you afraid people will talk?" "Let them talk. I am tired of pretending to be happy in a marriage that feels more like a business partnership." "So what is the plan?" "Still figuring it out, but last night showed me I have options." I took screenshots of everything. 43 messages that painted a clear picture of premeditation and disrespect. She had not just been overly friendly at the party. She had been planning for a different life. Next, I checked her search history. Apartment listings in our area. Divorce lawyers. How to leave a marriage without losing everything. Signs your husband is controlling. She had been researching her exit strategy for 2 months. I heard movement upstairs, the shower running. She would be downstairs in 20 minutes, probably expecting me to have made breakfast and act as if nothing had happened. Instead, I spent those 20 minutes making calls. First call to my buddy, who is a family law attorney. Not the kind of lawyer who handles divorces, but he would know who to recommend. Mark, it is me. I need a recommendation for a divorce lawyer. Someone good. Wow, is everything okay? It will be. I just need someone who can meet with me on Monday morning. I will send you 3 names. These guys are sharp, but they are fair. What happened? I will tell you later. Thanks. Second call to my bank. Saturday morning, but they had weekend customer service. I need to remove someone from my checking account. What is the procedure? Are you the primary account holder? Yes, it is my wife. But we are separating. You will need to come in person with a valid ID. We can create a new individual account and transfer the funds and the automatic payments. You will have to update them with your new account information. Can this be done Monday morning? Absolutely. We open at 9 in the morning. Third call to my credit card company. Same conversation, same appointment on Monday morning. I heard her coming down the stairs as I hung up the phone. Wet hair from the shower, wearing one of my old college t-shirts and pajama shorts, looking innocent and sleepy, as if she had not spent the previous night disrespecting our marriage in front of 30 people. Morning, she said, heading straight for the coffee maker. Morning. Thanks for cleaning up last night. The place looks great. I had not cleaned up, just stacked chairs and picked up bottles from the deck. But she was trying to establish normal morning after-party conversation. No problem. Everyone seemed to have fun. Your college buddy and his wife left a bit early, though. They had plans today. She poured some coffee and sat across from me at the kitchen table, the exact same spot where we had eaten breakfast in this rental for 3 years. But this time, it was different. The gym crew wants to plan another get-together soon. Maybe a dinner somewhere. Sounds fun. You would be invited, of course. Of course. Because watching my wife cross boundaries with multiple men at a restaurant sounded exactly like how I wanted to spend an evening. I will check my schedule. She studied my face over her coffee mug. I was not giving her the reaction she expected. No jealousy, no questions about her new friends. No demands for reassurance. You are being weird. How so? Just distant. Did something happen last night? This was the moment. She was opening the door for me to bring up her behavior, to start the argument she was probably expecting. The confrontation where I would accuse her of inappropriate behavior and she would turn it back on me for being controlling. Instead, I finished my coffee and stood up. I'm going to take a walk on the beach. I will come with you. Take your time getting ready. I will be back in an hour. I left her sitting at the kitchen table, probably wondering why her husband was not playing the role of the jealous interrogator she had prepared for. The walk on the beach gave me time to think. She had been planning this for months. The gym friends, the behavior at the party, the apartment hunting. She wanted out of the marriage, but she wanted me to be the bad guy. Wanted me to get angry and be controlling so she could justify leaving. But she had miscalculated. She had shown her cards too early. And now, I had all the information I needed to control the narrative. When I returned to the house, she was dressed and had packed our weekend bags, ready to head back, almost needing to load the coolers. We loaded the pickup truck in relative silence. The 4-hour drive home was even quieter. She was scrolling on her phone while I drove, probably texting Brandon and her work friends about how strangely I was acting. Let her wonder. By Monday morning, she would have much bigger things to worry about than my mood, because while she was plotting her exit strategy, I had spent the weekend plotting mine. And unlike her plan, mine was going to work. Monday morning, I was sitting in a lawyer's office at 9:15 in the morning. Michael Brooks came highly recommended, and after a 30-minute consultation, I understood why. He was direct, thorough, and had zero patience for emotional drama. Based on what you have told me and the evidence you have gathered, you have grounds for a divorce citing emotional abandonment and public humiliation. Virginia is a no-fault state, but documented evidence of affair adjacent behavior helps with the division of assets. How long does the uncontested process take? 6 months. If she contests, 12 to 18 months. But given her apparent desire to leave anyway, I suspect she will cooperate once she realizes you are serious. And the house, whose name is on the deed, both of us. But I paid the down payment with an inheritance before our marriage. That helps. We can argue for you to keep the house and give her other assets to balance the division. assuming there are other assets. There were. By 10:30 in the morning, I had signed a retainer agreement and authorized him to start the paperwork. At 11 in the morning, I was at the bank setting up my new individual accounts. By noon, I had transferred our joint savings into my name only and updated all the automatic payments. She was at work, probably telling her friends about her mysterious, silent husband who had not even questioned her about the party. Little did she know that her mysterious, silent husband was systematically dismantling their shared financial life. I picked up dinner on the way home. Chinese takeout from the place she liked. I wanted to keep things normal until I was ready for the conversation. She got home around 6:30 in the evening, as always. Kicked off her heels in the entryway, dropped her bag on the kitchen counter, complained about the traffic. Smells good. What did you get? The usual sesame chicken, fried rice, spring rolls. We ate dinner, making small talk about her day at the office and my client meetings. Normal married couple conversation. If you ignore the fact that I had spent the day preparing for her divorce. After dinner, she settled on the couch with a glass of wine and her phone. I cleaned the kitchen and waited for the right moment. That moment came when I heard her giggling at text messages. Good conversation? Just the girls from work. You know how they are. I sat at the other end of the couch, close enough to talk, far enough to avoid seeming confrontational. We need to discuss what happened at the party. Her fingers stopped scrolling. She looked up from her phone with the expression of someone who had been caught, but was not ready to admit it. About what? You called our wedding ring a friendship bracelet in front of 30 people. It was just a joke. People laughed. I was not laughing. Neither were most of our married friends. She set down her phone and her glass of wine. Here came the defense strategy. You are being too sensitive. It was harmless. Dancing closely with multiple men while your husband watches is not harmless. We were just dancing. There is nothing wrong with having fun. Sitting very intimately close to another man is not dancing. Her face flushed. She did not expect me to be so specific. Were you spying on me? I was at my own party. Hard to miss. I cannot believe you are making such a big deal out of this. I was socializing with the guests. You were crossing boundaries with the guests. There is a difference. She stood up and started pacing. Classic deflection tactic. This is exactly why I need space. You are controlling and paranoid. I am controlling for noticing my wife's inappropriate behavior. It was not inappropriate. You are just insecure. Show me your phone. The words hung between us. She stopped pacing and stared at me. Excuse me. If it was all innocent, show me your messages with Brandon. Her face went white. She did not expect me to know his name. I am not showing you my phone. It is private. Private conversations with single men are exactly the problem. You do not trust me? Should I trust you? She sat back down, but on the chair opposite the couch this time, creating a physical distance while she regrouped. We have problems in our marriage. I have been trying to tell you for months. By crossing boundaries with other men instead of talking to your husband? By trying to feel appreciated. When was the last time you made me feel special? And there was the pivot to make it my fault. The classic playbook. When was the last time you acted like you wanted to be married? I do want to be married, just not like this. Not like what? Not like roommates who split the bills and go through the motions. I pulled out my phone and opened the screenshots I had taken of her messages. This does not look like someone trying to fix their marriage. Her eyes widened as she realized what she was looking at. You went through my tablet? You left it unlocked on the counter. That is an invasion of privacy. Your husband reading messages about how clueless and boring he is? Yeah, feels like a violation. She reached for my phone, but I pulled it away. 6 weeks planning how to cross boundaries with Brandon at our party. 2 months researching divorce lawyers. 3 weeks telling your friends how miserable you are without ever mentioning it to me. Each fact hit her like a physical blow. Her defense strategy was crumbling. Those messages are taken out of context. Which part is out of context? The one where you called our marriage a business partnership, or the one where you said you had options? I was just venting to friends. You were planning an exit strategy. She started to cry. Not the genuine tears of someone who got caught and feels remorseful. The calculated tears of someone who realizes their game is over. I never cheated on you. No, you just publicly humiliated me and crossed serious emotional boundaries with multiple men. It was not like that. It was exactly like that. I stood up and went to the kitchen, where I had left the divorce papers I had picked up from the lawyer's office. I filed for divorce this morning. The crying stopped immediately. You did what? Hired a lawyer, started the paperwork, separated our bank accounts. She sprang up from the chair as if she had been shocked. You cannot be serious. Completely serious. We can fix this. We can go to counseling. You should have thought about counseling before you started looking for apartments. How did you? I know about the apartment hunts. I know about the divorce lawyer searches. I know you have been planning this for months. She sat back down, probably calculating how much trouble she was really in. So what happens now? You have 48 hours to pack your things and move out. This is my house too. It was your house. Check your bank account. She grabbed her phone and opened her banking app. I watched her face change as she realized the joint accounts were empty. You took my money. I moved my money. Everything in those accounts came from my paychecks. That is not legal. It is completely legal. Ask your lawyer when you hire one. I cannot afford a lawyer without access to our accounts. You should have thought about that before you started texting single men about having options. She was cornered, and she knew it. The crying resumed, but this time it seemed more genuine. Where am I supposed to go? Brandon's apartment? Your work friends? Your parents? Lots of options, huh? The word options hit her exactly as I intended, throwing her own language back at her. Please, do not do this. We can fix this. You are right, we can fix this. By getting a divorce. I headed toward the stairs to give her time to process what had just happened. I will be in my office. You have until Wednesday to pack. And if I do not, I turned back to look at her, still sitting in the chair, mascara running down her face, holding her phone as if it could provide a magic solution. Then I will pack for you. I went upstairs and closed the office door. Through the floor, I could hear her making calls, probably to Brandon, her work friends, anyone who could offer her a place to crash. Good luck with that. Because in 48 hours, she was going to discover the difference between having options and having options that actually want you. Tuesday morning, I woke up to the sound of her slamming drawers and stuffing clothes into suitcases. She had been up half the night making calls. And judging by the frustrated tone coming from the guest room, those calls had not gone well. I made some coffee and checked my emails. My lawyer had already sent the formal divorce papers. Efficient guy. She came downstairs around 8 in the morning, looking like she had not slept. Messy hair, red eyes, wearing yesterday's clothes. Brandon is not answering my calls. I looked up from my laptop. That is unfortunate. His phone goes straight to voicemail. Maybe he is busy. I think his girlfriend found out. Girlfriend. An interesting detail she had left out of her plans. The girls from work cannot help either. One is getting married next month, the other just had a baby. I nodded and went back to my emails. Not my problem to solve. My parents want to know why I am calling to stay with them. What did you tell them? That we are having problems. That is one way to put it. She sat across from me, probably hoping for a sign that I was bluffing. Is this really happening? Yes. After 7 years? After 7 years where I was faithful while you plotted your escape. She tried a different approach, the reasonable approach. We are both adults. We can handle this civilly. I am handling it civilly. I could have confronted you at the party in front of everyone. So what do you want? Half of everything. I want you out of my house by tomorrow. And the money? I cannot start over from scratch with nothing. I closed my laptop and gave her my full attention. You will get whatever the court decides you deserve. Based on the evidence. What evidence? The messages? The planning? The public humiliation? Her face fell as she remembered I had screenshots of everything. Those were private conversations. About your married life with single men you were crossing boundaries with. She stayed silent for a long time, probably realizing how bad that looked from a legal standpoint. I will need time to find an apartment. You have been looking for 2 months. Pick one. I was just looking. Look faster. Around noon, she started loading boxes into her car. I helped carry the heavy stuff, partly out of habit and partly because I wanted her gone as quickly as possible. Where are you going? An extended stay hotel for now. That is expensive. I will figure it out. By 3 in the afternoon, she had loaded most of her immediate necessities. Clothes, toiletries, laptop, a few books. The rest could wait for the legal proceedings. She stood in the driveway next to her loaded car, looking at the house we had shared for 4 years. I did not want it to end up like this. How did you want it to happen? I do not know. Differently. You wanted me to be the bad guy so you could leave guilt-free. She did not deny it. I will call you to pick up the rest of my things. Call my lawyer. We cannot even speak directly. We just did. This is how it ends. She got into her car and backed out of the driveway. I watched her drive away, probably heading toward the extended stay hotel by the highway, probably calling Brandon again, hoping he had developed a conscience overnight. That evening, I had dinner with my college buddy and his wife. I told them the whole story over beer and pizza. She really said the ring was like a friendship bracelet? In front of 30 people. What a piece of work. His wife shook her head. I felt so bad for you that night. We almost said something. I am glad you did not. Better that I handled it quietly. So what now? Now, I wait for the divorce to be finalized and move on with my life. Any regrets? I thought about it for a moment. 7 years of marriage, for years in the house together. All the plans we had made. Only that I did not see it sooner. That night, I slept in the middle of the bed for the first time in years. No one taking up 3/4 of the space. No snoring, no phone buzzing with late-night messages. Just quiet. 7 months later, I was pushing a cart through Target when I saw her. She was in the clearance clothing section, holding a sweater from the sale rack and checking the price tag. Hair pulled back into a messy ponytail. No makeup, wearing jeans that had seen better days. I almost did not recognize her. Hi. She looked up, startled. It took her a second to realize her ex-husband was standing 3 feet away. Oh, hi. How are things? Good. Good, you know. Adjusting. She was not doing well. The extended stay hotel had apparently stretched out to 3 months before she found a studio apartment across town. I knew that because my lawyer had kept me updated during the divorce proceedings. You look different. Thanks. It was not a compliment. She had lost weight, but not the good kind. The stress kind. The kind that comes from struggling. How is Brandon? Her face tightened. I would not know. Of course, Brandon had disappeared the moment things got complicated. Turns out 25-year-old gym guys are not interested in dating recently divorced women with legal drama. Is the apartment working out okay? It is temporary. Everything was temporary now. Her job, her housing situation, her financial stability. Turns out when you blow up your life for excitement, you do not get to keep the stability part. I noticed her cart. All generic brands, store brand cereal, discounted pasta, marked down produce. Well, I should let you get back to your shopping. Actually, wait. She looked around to make sure no one was listening. How are you doing? Really, really good. Promoted at work. Bought a new pickup truck. That is great. I could see her doing the math. While she was struggling to pay rent on a studio apartment, I was thriving. Are you seeing anyone? Actually, yes. Her name is Samantha. She is a teacher. That is nice. She is. Very nice. Respectful. The word respectful landed exactly as I intended. Listen, I know things ended badly between us. They ended exactly how they were supposed to end. She nodded, probably realizing this was not going to be the reconciliation conversation she was hoping for. I should get going. Samantha is making dinner tonight. Right? Well, it was good seeing you. Take care. I pushed my cart toward the electronics section, where I was picking up a new sound system for the house. Behind me, I heard her phone ring. Mom? No, I cannot come over for Sunday dinner again. I am working a double shift. I kept walking. 3 hours later, I texted Samantha that I would be home in 20 minutes. She replied with a picture of the salmon she was grilling, with a message saying, "Cannot wait to see you." 6 months earlier, I had met Samantha at a downtown coffee shop. She was reading a book, minding her own business, not performing for anyone's attention. We started talking about the book, which led to dinner, which led to a 6-month relationship with someone who actually wanted to be with me. She did not play games, did not cross boundaries with other men, did not call her engagement ring jewelry names to make strangers laugh. When I got home, Samantha was setting the table for 2. She looked up when I walked in and smiled as if she had genuinely missed me during the 4 hours I was gone. How was Target? Interesting. I ran into my ex-wife. Oh wow. How was that? Educational. Educational good or bad? Educational reminder. She walked over and kissed me hello. Not performative. Not for anyone's benefit, just because she wanted to. Reminder of what? That I made the right decision. During dinner, I told her about the run-in, how different my ex looked, how awkward the conversation had been, how clear it was that her life had not improved since the divorce. Do you feel bad for her? Should I? I do not know. You were married for 7 years. I thought about it as we washed the dishes together. A routine we had developed over 6 months. Easy, comfortable, respectful. She made her choices at the party, with the messages, with the apartment hunting. She wanted a different life, and now she has it. Later that night, lying in bed with Samantha reading next to me, I reflected on the whole situation. 7 months ago, I was married to someone who called our wedding ring a friendship bracelet. Tonight, I was with someone who wore the necklace I gave her for our 3-month anniversary. The difference was respect. Samantha respected our relationship, respected me, and respected herself enough not to play games. My ex-wife had taught me what I would not tolerate. Samantha was teaching me what I deserved. 7 months ago, I thought the end of my marriage was the worst thing that could happen to me. It turns out it was the best thing. Comment: I really hope this story gave you something meaningful to think about. What stayed with me is how crucial it is to value and protect our own self-respect. Setting healthy boundaries is one of the kindest things we can do for ourselves. We all deserve relationships where we are treated with genuine kindness and respect. Sometimes, choosing peace means having the courage to let go of what no longer serves us. Healing truly begins when we take responsibility for our own happiness and well-being. Never settle for situations that make you constantly doubt your worth. Real peace comes when we choose people who truly see and value us. Take a quiet moment today to reflect on what you truly deserve in love and in life. I am always here rooting for you as you create a life that feels safe, respectful, and good.
Thank you for taking the time to watch and support our channel. It truly means a lot to us.